We are talking about financial wisdom. I'm sure that everyone is interested in finance. When I'm talking about finance, I'm talking about elementary finance. And when I'm talking about finance, I'm talking about money related matters. Everyone wants money because without money, even vision can be cut short. And that is why it is important to pay attention to some of the tips we are going to share today on finances. One of the things that a lot of people have not paid attention to is that where money is not available, a lot of things in our life can be stalled. And that is why whether you are a Christian or non-Christian, it is something you need to pay attention to. As a business, it is the balance between your income and your expenses that give you your profit. Sometimes you may not be able to control so much your income, but there is something you can do over your expenses, because if nothing is done about your expenses, you may run into a problem. As an individual, likewise, it is not typically possible all the time to grow your income to whatever you want the income to be. I'm not saying it's impossible to grow your income, because you must aspire to grow your income. And no matter how much you grow your income, if you don't manage your expenses can grow up to meet income according to Parkinson's law. So that is why you need to pay attention onto how you manage your expenses very well, because you don't have so much of room to play around your income. Most especially if you work for people, you are an employee, your income will not be increasing all the times. So you have a limited control over the income. However, you have a full control over your expenditure. And one of the ways to control your expenses is to have a budget. Many people don't have budget. Once they receive their income, or maybe any money enters into their hand, there is no planning on how to spend the money. They just begin to blow the money and begin to buy things they have not prepared for. Budgeting helps you to allocate the money that comes into your hand, and for you to be able to prioritize where your money goes to. Personally, I run a budget. I've been running budget for many years. Every month, and anything that I will spend within the month must go through the budget. If it's not inside the budget, I may find it difficult to expend. You may want to say, how about emergencies that you don't plan for? Yes, there are budgets should also contain miscellaneous. Those things that you have not planned for, because they may just come in the course of the month. Another thing you need to take note is you need to eliminate debt as much as possible. I am not saying the debt is not good, but you can only take debts when you want to run your business and when you have carefully analyzed. Of course, for business, you can finance your business through debt and equity. Equity is your own personal contribution to the business. But personally, one of the rules of financial wisdom is that you must try as much as possible not to incur so much debt. And it has to be for something that will yield a lot of return. You don't borrow to buy clothes. You don't borrow to buy things that you are going to consume. But if it is something that will yield returns where you have carefully analyzed it, then you can go ahead. Again, you don't buy things on impulse. Just like you see certain things and then you want to buy. You will not be able to have independence in your finances that way, because your expenses will keep growing unto a level you will lose control over it. And once your expenses is growing faster than the way your income is growing, then you're going to have a lot of problems. It is important to take note of all this and many other more that we will not be able to discuss now because of time. Financial independence is attainable when you control your expenses, because that's where you have a huge control. Because on the income side, you don't have so much control. The control is limited. If you are an entrepreneur, you may not always be able to grow your income the way you want to grow it. And as an employee, you may not have salary increase or some other addition that you do apart from your paid job. Where you have so much control is your expenses. And as you do this, I believe we will gain financial independence. Thank you and see you in my next session.